I knew that.
Usually salads are right on the plate.
Ladies and gentlemen, would the company please rise to receive the haggis? Piper, Derek Shirley, and Chef Gordon Conover. Enter the haggis.
You can all be seated if you like. We'll address the haggis. Are you anxious for me to pour there? Fair for you, honest, sonsy face, great chieftain of the puddin' race, aboon them all, you tak your place, paunch, tripe, or fair. Weel are you worthy of all grace, as lang's my hair. The groaning trencher there you fill, your hurry's like a distant hill. Your pin would help to mend the mill in time of need, while through the pores the dews distill like amber bead. His knife see rustic labour dight, and cut you up with ready sleight, trenching your gushing entrails bright like ony ditch. Oh then, what a glorious sight, warm, reeking, rich. Ye powers that make mankind your care, and dish them out their bill of fare. All Scotland wants nae stinking ware that joups and luggies. But if you wish, our grateful prayer, gie a haggis. To the haggis.
To the haggis.
To the haggis.
To the haggis.
To the haggis.
You finished already? He's gonna march out.
Good evening.
Hello.
The Rockford Burns Club was organized in November of 1858, just 5 years after Rockford was chartered as a city in 1853. We are the oldest social ethnic organization in the city of Rockford. Our first banquet was held on January 25th of 1859 at the Holland House, which was located at the corner of State and Main in downtown Rockford. The Rockford Burns Club became a legally organized corporation within Illinois on January 20th of 1875. Over the years, the club has done an excellent job in, as it is stated in the application for charter, the commemoration of the genius of Robert Burns. We assemble here this evening to carry on the tradition of the commemoration and of the preservation of the immortal memory of Robert Burns and the Scottish heritage, and to just have a good time. Those of you who have been to our banquets in the past already know what to expect. God bless you, you came anyway. It must be the haggis. Those of you who are with us this evening for your first time, you'll soon discover why we get paid in advance. We offer no ticket refunds and ask for proof of health and life insurance at the door. The haggis was not the initiation. That'll come later. If you haven't had the opportunity or the guts, and there's no pun intended there, to try the haggis yet, if there's any left, please do so. While I'm certainly not a connoisseur of haggis, ours is one of the best around and certainly better than what you get at Cliff Breakers or Papa John's. On behalf of the officers and directors of the Rockford Burns Club, I would like to welcome each of you to the 149th consecutive banquet, commemorating the 248th anniversary of the birth of Robert Burns, who was born on January 25th, 1759. With this being our 149th banquet, and to quote a series of current television commercials, it's so easy a caveman can figure it out, that next year will be our 150th. We're just beginning this evening's gathering, yet we've already begun plans for 2008's festival. We're hoping to sponsor several events throughout this year and next to help celebrate this milestone in our club's and the city of Rockford's history. To ensure you're getting the latest information about the club's activities and events that are coming up, don't forget to turn in your membership at the club membership table at the rear of the banquet hall. You will find membership slips on your table. Membership is only $10 per year per household, and besides the newsletter, which gives advance notice of club activities, you'll also receive a discount on banquet tickets and possibly other events. Also available for sale at the membership table are copies of the book To the Immortal Memory. It's a history of the Rockford Burns Club and of Scots in general in the Rockford area, as well as the Clan McAlpin Bagpipe Band. While you're at the membership table, please take a few minutes to peruse the many documents and artifacts on display. The original Constitution and bylaws book, the charter, other documents are on display. Please use care as these are nearly 150 years old, but there's a lot of history. By the way, the portrait of Robbie Burns, an original oil which is displayed on the stage, was painted by a well-known painter of this area at the time, George Robertson, who donated the painting to the Burns Club in 1875, and it has presided over every banquet since. Those who have attended previous banquets may notice that one of our icons is not with us this evening. Frank Roddy, who has emceed our banquets for many years, has been a bit under the weather and a little out of sorts lately, and just didn't feel up to being here this evening. While he and Margaret are lounging at home this evening, we'll trudge along and I'll do my best to fill his spot for the evening. Without further ado, we will begin our evening's entertainment. While the venue of our banquets has remained fairly consistent over the past 20 years or so, every now and then we try to introduce something new or bring something back which has been phased out over the years. A new segment this year is the presentation of the clans. For those who have had the fortune to attend Highland Games gatherings or similar events, it's been a tradition at many to have a clan presentation where represented clans form a procession before the audience while the announcer read a bit of the clan's history. This year we'd like to offer a brief bit of history on a few selected clans which are represented here this evening. And if we didn't select one of your clans, these are by random. We have a lot of clans and hope to cover more in future years. Davidson. Seps of the clan include Davy, Dawson, Day, Dean, Dow, Kay, McDade, and Slora, while Inverness Shire McKays are really said to be McDays. Although Davidson sounds like an English name, the clan is in fact a Gaelic tribe. The Davidson clan is one of the oldest and most notable of the Scottish clans, with an identifiable history going back to at least the 11th century. They are closely aligned with the clans of McIntosh, McDade, and McKay. Despite their strong independent attitude, they joined the confederation of clans known as Clan Chattan in the 1200s. In the Battle of Inch, they were confronted with a vastly larger force of rival clans, but rather than retreat, they chose to fight, and as a result were almost annihilated. Only one Davidson combatant survived. Their military wisdom at the battle is questionable, but their pride and ferocity in battle became legendary. They played a significant part in Scottish history. Later, the Davidsons migrated throughout Scotland, but concentrated primarily in the north-central highlands near Inverness and along the eastern seacoast near Aberdeen. In recent times, you can find Davidsons and their influence throughout the world. Perhaps you've longed to ride on one of the motorcycles designed by Davidson. The Hamiltons were considered the most important of the lowland families, aspiring at one time even to the Scottish throne. Their chief is still the premier Duke of Scotland, heir male of the House of Douglas and hereditary keeper of the Palace of Holyrood. The name is generally believed to be English in origin, as there are several places named Hamilton and Hambledon, etc. The first reliable record of the name in Scotland was in 1296, when Walter Hambledon was one of those Scottish nobles to pledge allegiance to Edward I of England. After his initial support of the English, the Hamiltons lent their allegiances to the Bruce during the Wars of Independence and were granted the lands of Kedzau. At one period during the mid-1500s, a Hamilton was heir apparent to the throne. James, 3rd Marquis, was created Duke of Hamilton in 1643, and the title passed to his daughter Anne, who married William Douglas, the Earl of Selkirk. The Earl of Selkirk created Duke of Hamilton for life, thus connecting the families. Though sometimes credited with Jacobite sentiments, neither of the succeeding dukes rose for the Stuarts, and hence continued throughout the 18th century in their roles as great noblemen and statesmen. There are several branches of the Hamilton family, the most notable being the Hamiltons of Abercorn, Dalzell, and Innerwick. MacDougall. The MacDougals are descended from Dougal, eldest son of Sutherland of the Isle, progenitor of Clan Donald. The first record of the name is in 1230, when Duncan Cowell founded the Priory of Archdotton in Argyllshire. Unfortunately for the MacDougals, their chief supported Balliol against Robert the Bruce, and was therefore deprived of his lands. At the time, the family controlled Lorne and Benderloch, the islands of Mull, Lismore, Call, and Tiree. In 1354, however, some of these lands were restored when John MacDougall of Lorne married Robert the Bruce's granddaughter. Although they were descended from a common ancestor, the MacDougals and MacDonalds feuded. The hostility that resulted was compounded during the 16th century, when after an heiress had carried their lands to the Campbells via the Stuarts. MacDougall of Dunolly acknowledged Argyll as his feudal superior. The chiefship passed to the MacDougals of Dunolly as the nearest male heir. The MacDougals fought for Charles I during the Civil War and after, following the Stuart cause during the 1715 rebellion. The chief's wife held Dunolly Castle against the government troops while he was fighting at Sheriffmoor. The moral there is don't mess with the MacDougall women, as I'm sure the MacDougall men can attest to. The estate was confiscated and restored just prior to 1745 because of their loyalty to the crown. And finally, this evening, McAlpin. Alpin is the name given to many clans that are often of no direct connection. They are all supposed to have royal connections, being descended from Kenneth MacAlpin, the ancestors to the kings of Scotland, and include such clans as the MacGregors, the Grants, McKinnons, McQuetties, McNabs, McDuffies, or McFies and McCaulays. Although MacAlpin is today still a common Scottish surname, there is little trace of any clan of the name. It is said that the former chiefs had their seat at Dunstafnage Castle in Argyll, an early capital of Kenneth MacAlpin. It was Kenneth MacAlpin who founded the Scottish kingdom in 843. He won over power from the Pictish kings which he may have gained through his mother's Pictish connections, although more likely it was through the Viking assaults that had already weakened the Picts' position, allowing the Scots to drive towards the center of Scotland. He died in 860, and his descendants ruled for many generations. The Clan MacAlpin Bagpipe Band is the 15th oldest Highland bagpipe band still in existence in the United States, having been officially formed in 1912. The band was initiated on December 19th of 1910, and their bylaws being approved by the Royal Council of the Order of the Scottish Clans on April 5th, 1918. Over the years, the band's name has changed several times, including the Rockford Kilty Band, the Rockford Bagpipe Band, the Kilty Clan MacAlpine Band, and the Pipes and Drums of the Scottish Educational Society, and that was a tough name to get printed on the drum. That went all the way around. Several years ago, the band voted to reclaim the original name, Clan MacAlpine. They're always looking for new members and provide free lessons in uniforms with continued involvement. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise and join me in welcoming the Pipes and Drums of the Clan MacAlpine Bagpipe Band of Rockford. Most of the tunes played this evening have a history and story behind them. This next tune is one of those. Scots Wha Hae is a patriotic song of Scotland which served for a long time as an unofficial anthem, national anthem of the country. Originally titled Robert Bruce's March to Bannockburn, the lyrics were written by Robert Burns in 1793 in the form of a speech given by Robert the Bruce before the famous Battle of Bannockburn in 1314, where Scotland maintained its independence from England.
Scots Wha Hae. Scots who have with Wallace bled, Scots whom Bruce has often led, welcome to your gory bed, or to victory. Now is the day and now is the hour, see the front of battle lower, see approach proud Edward's power, chains and slavery. Who will be a traitor knave? Who will fill a coward's grave? Who so base as be a slave? Let him turn and flee. Who, for Scotland's king and law, freedom's sword will strongly draw? Free man stand or free man fall, let him follow me. By oppression's woes and pains, by your sons in servile chains, we will drain our dearest veins, but they shall be free. Lay the proud usurpers low, tyrants fall in every foe, liberty in every blow, let us do or die.
We're hearing more of has it's more of a hobby. I think it's almost a passion with Robert Burns, with recital and portraying him in first person. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that he had a CD of his works available at the membership table as well. And I'm sure wouldn't be surprised if you saw Robbie pop in a few more times yet this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now my pleasure to welcome and introduce the Thistle and Heather Highland Dancers.
thank you and good evening. We are the Thistle and Heather Highland Dancers. That was the sword dance, if you couldn't tell by the props we had with us tonight.
A tradition at Burns suppers has always been the toast to the lassies. At the early banquets many years ago, the dinners were prepared by the women of the club. The idea of the toast to the lassies was for the men to offer a lighthearted yet sincere thank you to all the lassies for the meal, which culminated in a teasing toast, which usually involved a tongue-in-cheek list of the shortcomings of the fairer sex, of which, of course, there are absolutely none. Even though many banquets are now catered, as is ours, the traditional toast continues. And of course, it is also tradition that it be followed by the reply to the toast to the lassies, or the toast to the laddies. This is the opportunity for the lassies to reply with an equally tongue-in-cheek list of all the shortcomings of the baser sex. I give you the toast to the lassies. Gentlemen, prepare. Please fill your glasses. I asked my wife the other day what she liked best about me. I didn't think that was funny. Not yet. My firm, trim body or my intellect. And now you can laugh. She said, your sense of humor, dear. In writing this toast to the lassies, I couldn't help but notice the differences between lads and lassies. Not the obvious differences that make them so pleasing to the eye, but the more subtle differences. Such as, a man will pay $2 for a $1 item that he wants. A woman will pay $1 for a $2 item on sale that she doesn't want. A woman worries about the future until she gets a husband. A man never worries about the future until he gets a wife. A successful man is one who makes more money than his wife can spend. A successful woman is one who can find such a man. Any married man should forget his mistakes. There's no use in two people remembering the same thing. A woman has the last word in any argument. Anything a man says after that is the beginning of a new argument. A man has 6 items in his bathroom: a toothbrush, shaving cream, razor, a bar of soap, and a towel from the Holiday Inn. The average number of items in the typical woman's bathroom is 337. And a man would not be able to identify most of these items. And finally, children. A woman knows all about her children. She knows about dentist appointments and best friends and favorite foods and secret fears and hopes and dreams. A man, on the other hand, is vaguely aware of some short people living in the house. But regardless of the differences that separate men and women, we are not complete without them. And I prepared the following toast with the assistance of the same muse that aided Robert Burns. A toast to the lassies. Gentlemen, if you would please rise. Don't forget your glass. If you have to get back down, sit back down and get it, we understand. Together we stand here in praise for the women around us and in our days. Like Robert Burns, he once knew that we love our lassies, though he had more than a few. When in our arms they bring us untold pleasure, these are our lassies, for they are a true treasure. We seek to marry them, it is said, for nothing more than to get them to wed. They feed our spirit, they feed our soul. For many of us, they fill our bowl. They care for us, they keep us well, though occasionally they make it feel like heaven. They teach us manners, they teach us style. For many of us, that takes quite a while. They improve with age, Well, we do not, for that's clear looking at you lot. For the parcel of rogues I see here tonight, it's truly amazing that our lassies don't take flight. For they put up with our habits, and we have all sorts, such as control of the remote and preoccupation with sports. For our lassies, we would walk 500 miles. It must be because of their feminine wiles. Over Heathery Mountain and Scroggy Glen, we seek them out now and then. But tonight we stand here in praise. So join me, lads, let your voices raise. Prepare to toast, fill up your glasses. Join me now to our bonny lasses. To the lassies.
Lassies.
And now.
I got something to say about that bathroom thing. Problem is, men have only 6 things in the bathroom because they can't organize anything else. Sorry, that just was off the top of my head. That one got me. Wow, if I had known those digs would have been that deep, I would have changed my toast to include a woman's ability to juggle children, a job, dinner, dishes, wash clothes, clean their bathrooms, have the car washed, take out the garbage, make his bed, clean his house, walk the dog, and remind him of his mother's birthday in one day. However, that's not what I'm doing. Instead, as I have been asked this year to give the reply to the toast to the ladies tonight, lassies tonight, I have come to understand my reply while illustrating the vices and lack of morality of the members of the unfairer sex is to end on a complimentary note. Robert Burns represented the aspirations of the common man. He put into song many of our better ideas and ideals and verbalized our higher instincts. He also had a hawkish sense of bawdy humor. And in that vein, let me make a sincere effort to begin this reply on a complimentary note by beginning with a look at the size of Scottish manhood. Size. Some years ago in Scotland, a television commercial for Scottish porridge oats showed 2 tall strapping men in kilts and string vests tossing the caber and strutting their step after having consumed a hearty breakfast of hot porridge. However, the commercial had to be filmed using English actors, as no Scottish actors of the right build could be found to play the parts. A 5'2" Glasgow man, to whom the commercial story was repeated, theorized that all la creme of Scottish manhood had been used as common fodder by the English in 2 wars, leaving the runts at home to breed. And what about the Scotsman's sense and style of dress? There's a theory that our ancestral Pict men painted themselves indigo so their wives could not see what they were up to in the heather with the woman next door. Nowadays, though, Scotland is possessed of a tartan obsession. According to one historian, prior to Robert Burns, the average clan gathering looked like a parade of taddy bags. A chief purpose of the original tartan was camouflage. Dressed in modern-day tartans, the only way you men could hide would be to fight your battles in a multicolored Dutch tulip field. Do we agree, ladies, with the statement that the kilt is an aphrodisiac? I once heard someone say that your man could hawk himself about in tight jeans and Italian suits and there's nothing new. But should he, and I quote, hap his hurdies with the passion pleats, doesn't seem to matter what kind of women they were, whether we're rich, poor, old, young, black, white, yellow, they just melt and go shugly in the legs and submit. A social anthropologist who was asked why the kilt should be the world's greatest knee trembler, he just laughed and said, accessibility, old chap. That's what fascinates them, accessibility. But ladies, take care. I'm not speaking from experience here when I suggest, though the answer to what a Scotsman wears under his kilt is best left to the imagination. Still, ladies, you should know this. According to the results of a British Gas Energy Centre's Household Husbands Day quiz, which is a lighthearted quiz designed to test men's knowledge of traditionally female tasks, Scottish men outperformed their English and Welsh counterparts when it came to their knowledge of household chores. I stress the word knowledge. Knowing how to do something and actually doing it are two different things. I also received a chain letter recently, but unlike most chain letters, this one didn't cost a thing. It read, "This letter was started by a woman like yourself in the hope of bringing relief to other tired and discontented women. Just bundle up your husband or boyfriend and send him to the woman whose name appears at the top of the list. Then add your name to the bottom of the list and send a copy of this letter to 5 of your friends who are equally tired and discontented. When your name comes to the top of the list, you will receive 3,125 men. And some of them are bound to be better than the one you gave up." Robbie Burns was a great believer in the rights of women and held us rightly so, socially and intellectually, as equals. Despite all their vices, their immorality, and all the troubles they may heap upon us, we continue to love them. Those men. We love them for the little things a man could be loved for. And let's face it, girls, some of us can love very little things. So lassies, for those of you who are still looking for Mr. Right, girls, the message is clear. Head north of the border. And now, thanks for the toast well meant and well deserved, for all bonny lasses well preserved, and on a cold and dreary night, alone the lass dreams of a bonny sight. A brave Scot in kilt is clad, voice low in song, a ballad glad. Between a lass and lad, love is wed. He stays the road and has not fled. Both feel the burr and face the bit. Smiles on faces, eyes burns lit. We'll recognize lads and honor you too. You have your purpose, so many girls like us to woo. Marriage may bring mayhem and mothers lament. Hot kisses can lead to love permanent. So lads, honor the thistle, Scotland and the bard. Eat haggis, drink scotch, and Highland games play hard. But the bonny lasses to them don't be a coof. Forget them not, nor be aloof. And ladies, we'll make it worth your toil. You'll feel the warmth, your blood will boil. Your eyes will shine, your pipes will sing. So to our lads, let all the bells ring. Glasses, please. May honor bestow you, and women adore you. To our lads.
Our lads.
It's too bad that there was never a traditional rebuttal to the laddies. And where would it all end? Mr. John Brandon will now grace us with a bit of Scotland in song.
tempted to change my lineup after that. I'll do some rubber parts. Flow gently, sweet half-tongue, among thy green braes. Flow gently, sweet half-tongue, I'll sing thee a song of praise. My Mary's asleep, mine I'm murmuring stream. Flow gently, sweet half-tongue, disturb not her dream. Thou stocked of whose echo resounds through the glen, ye wild whistling blackbirds in yon thorny den, thou green-crested lapwing, thy screaming forbid. I charge you disturb not her slumbering fair. Flow gently, sweet half-tongue, among thy green braes. Flow gently, sweet half-tongue, I will sing thee a song of praise. My Mary's asleep, by thy murmuring stream. Flow gently, sweet half-tongue, disturb not her dream. Another Burns song, probably one of his most famous songs, besides Auld Lang Syne, is My Love Is Like a Red, Red Rose. But I really have to concentrate on this one because it goes way high, so if I start off in the wrong note, the top of my head will blow off when I get to the high one. So here we go. My love is like a red, red rose that's newly sprung in the June. My love is like a melody that's sweetly played in the tune. And fair thou art, my bonny lass, sae deep in love am I, and I will love thee still, my dear, till all the seas gang dry, till all the seas gang dry, my dear, and rocks melt away the sun. Oh, I will come again, my dear, while sands of time may run, and fare thee weel, my only love, and fare thee weel while. Oh, I will come again, my dear, though 'twere 10,000 miles. My love is like a red, red rose that's newly sprung in June. My love is like a melody that's sweetly played in the tune. And fair thou art, my bonny lass, sae deep in love am I, and I will come again, my dear, though 'twere 10,000 miles.